As soon as I turn the corner, I see a cop car just get the on the ground. I was like, what the?
What is up, everyone, and welcome back. I am your host, Alannized, and this is Noche de Pendejadas, your favorite podcast turned talk show en donde yo traigo a tus influencers favoritos para platicar y posiblemente sacarles sus trapitos al sol. Hoy les traigo a un invitado que yo sé que allá en casita ustedes me lo han estado pidiendo, so without any further ado, please help me welcome my guest tonight, Benny Sullivan!
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Hasta que se nos hace, right?
Hey, it's about time, Alan.
It's about time. You're like, when the fuck is Alan gonna ask me?
I was waiting.
Ya me estaba tardando, right? You know what's so funny? I like to say this all the time, which is funny because when I finally built the courage to DM you, I was like, you know what? Benny's always been so fucking chill. ¿Sabes lo que es? I think when it comes to straight men, como que I get scared that they're gonna be like, I know, yo no voy a hacer esas pinches joterías.
Really?
I think like that. Maybe it's my self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've had a lot of straight men on the show that I finally built the courage to ask. And once I film with them, I'm like, yo nomás estaba.
Cool.
Yo,
They're
I
all
was
flirting
cool.
with you?
Nah, I took them home. Just kidding. No, but I swear to God, it took me a while because I don't know, for some reason, I feel like it's so much easier for me to talk to girls. But I was like, you know what? When I was going through the people that I wanted to have, you have always been a name that has came up. I've known you for so long.
Right? It's been a while.
That's why I'm like, me tardé muchísimo.
I've been seeing the comments too, and I'm like, I'm waiting.
You're like, damn, Alex está haciendo pendejo, amiga, si en verdad que
I'm
sí.
liking every comment.
You're like, boom, boom, it's all you. It's all on your burner account. I
my
swear to God.
spams.
No, but I swear to God, I have always wanted to have you on the podcast. And when I finally built the courage, amigas, literal mandé el mensaje and I didn't even open up my Instagram. And then pasaron que como un día, literally, because we were going back and forth too. Through DMs, you guys, I would reply, it would take a day for him to reply, and then it would take me a day. And I was like, dame tu número y nos vamos a poner de acuerdos, amigas. And we made it fucking happen. And I'm so excited de finalmente tenerte aquí en mi silla para poder entrevistarte and know a little bit more about Benny.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Before we
excited.
get started con todo el chisme, cuéntanos un poquito más de quién eres y qué haces.
Okay, so my name is Benny Soliven. I am 32 years young, you guys. I know. What a surprise. Everyone says, you're 32? Like,
you're
what?
old.
You're hella old.
That's how I feel now, too, because I'm pushing 30. When people say that my age is old, I'm like...
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, you're young.
Yeah, I'm still young, but ya me siento de 30, güey.
Yeah.
Porque everyone in the industry is fresh 21,
Right.
19, 18, nosotros ya viejos con pelos en el culo. Pero también ellos, amigas, a los 21 ya te salen pelos.
Right. So yeah, I'm 32. I guess I'm a social media entertainer, I guess you could say. Social media personality is the best one. I like to vlog my family. I'm a dad. I'm a boyfriend. I love to vlog my life and make music, have fun, and just live.
Hace un poquito de todo, amigas. And today, como te digo, I'm so excited to have you in my chair to really get to know a little bit more about Benny. Remember that doctor's appointment you were supposed to make a while ago? The one you meant to book but got totally sidetracked and completely forgot about it until now? You know that dentist appointment for your biannual cleaning or your overdue annual checkup that's been 3 years in the making? Well, why not book it today? ZocDoc makes it easy to find the right doctor right now, and it's all online. You can find the doctors that are right for you and instantly book an appointment. As I get older, I keep catching myself thinking, should I go to the doctors more? You know, to deal with things like sleep problems or stress from work, but it can be tough to get to the doctor. I want to keep myself healthy, but the system makes it impossible to find the right doc for my needs. Until I found ZocDoc. They make it so easy to find the right fit and book an appointment fast and directly on their website. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. With ZocDoc, you can book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent, and more. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Alan to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That is ZocDoc.com/Alan. ZocDoc.com/Alan. Now let's get back to today's episode. The reason why I love the podcast is because it gives like a different inside scoop into the influencers' lives. Like you really do get to see, them in a different light, in a way where you're like, damn, yo no sabía que pasaron por esto. Yo no sabían that they went through that. Because a lot of the time nos miran, oh my God, they're living so lavish, les va bien. No, este güey nunca sufrió.
Yeah.
Pero that was not the case. Hoy tenemos muchísima plática, amigas, y vamos a empezar con la primera pregunta that I love starting with, because like I said, I feel like it's super important to dive into your childhood to get a little bit more of an understanding of who you are and what your upbringing was like. So cuéntanos un poquito más de how was Benny growing up? What were the hobbies you loved doing? Cuéntanos de tu infancia.
I was born and raised in Stockton, California. Parents separated my whole life, but I did have both of my parents in my life. So I primarily lived with my mom. Very sheltered as a kid. My mom was very strict on me. You can't go nowhere, I had to ask for permission and always got denied, but it was a good time. I can't complain, My mom took good care of me. I had a very loving, supportive family. And drug, gang violence is very present in Stockton, you know what I mean? And just growing up, I was surrounded by it. Family members, friends, people I went to school with. I see it all the time, But for some reason, I was never really attracted to that, I think my mom really set it straight for me. She was always on my head, just do good, go to school, get good grades, whatever the case may be. So I was good, I did mess up here and there, just from influences from friends and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was just personal choices that I just made the better choice for myself, because I seen how the gang violence and drug affected people, and I just didn't want that for myself. So I'm pretty blessed to say that at a young age, I kind of acknowledged that for myself,
Growing up in those environments, yo pienso que puede ser tan fácil de que, you see something and it just becomes the normal, right? What were things that maybe you saw growing up in your neighborhood, your friends or even family members that to you at the time felt like, oh, this is normal, this is them just living life. Yeah. But now that you're an adult and you're like, damn, this actually isn't normal. Kids in other environments no pasan por cosas así.
It's funny you say that, because I think becoming a parent made me realize, like, damn, we were really doing that back. Like, if that was my son doing the things I was doing back then, I'm whooping his ass, Like, back in the day, I feel like I remember seeing my friends taking, like, drugs in class, like pills, whatever, and they're just, like, having a good time, whatever, But at the time, I didn't do it, I was like, no, I'm okay. But I would see my, friends do it, and it became normal. I'm like, oh, this is just history class. She's on a pill over there. Like, it's
oh,
crazy,
she's doing
right?
her thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're trying to make the class go by faster, Like, but at the time, it was like, I didn't think nothing of it. But now that we're older and I look back at it, like, that's crazy, Like, taking drugs in high school, like, we're 15 or something like that, 16.
I grew up in Santa Ana, which I feel like is also kind of considered one of the more ghetto cities, or just one of the most, I guess, crime violent cities in OC, like in OC, right?
So you guys were hitting the balloon out here, huh?
Yes, the balloons. You know what? Actually, I didn't hit. Yes, that was a big thing, but I didn't hit the balloon maybe until I was an adult. But that was one of the things que todos en las fiestas como que era muy normal, right? Like you go to parties and everyone's like hitting the nos, and you're like, "Oh, what's that?"
Is that a SoCal thing? Because in NorCal, I don't think I've ever experienced people.
What was like
balloons.
really popular out there? Like pills?
Yeah, like pills or like, weed or something like that.
I think weed for us was really normal. My brother a lot of times got fucking kicked out of schools because hasta not just consumed them, but la vendía. He's like, me quedo extra.
He's the plug. Huh?
He's like, literally, he's like, has one nug left. He's like, te lo vendo. But it did kind of become very much the norm. Very much like you, I think I saw a lot of that.
Normalized, huh?
And I kind of never wanted that for myself, right? Did you ever feel kind of like the pressure of being surrounded by friends and family that did that, and you're like, you know what? Déjalo trato aunque sea una vez, para quitarme el antojo.
Well, I've never taken a pill like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been like, I don't know, I've been like kind of scared in a way, because I would see the way they act, and I was like, no, I don't want to be not in control of myself, like that would be, especially at school, like no way.
Yeah.
My mom finds out. I think the fear of my mom finding out was like what stopped me from doing a lot of
I feel
things.
like my anxiety could never at school though. Like
Exactly,
bitch,
right?
like I feel like I'd get caught up. Like even if I was like on a trip and I was like in the corner and no one was like paying attention to me, I feel like I'd be the person that would be so tripped out.
You're trying to act normal?
I'm on something. Literally, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'd get scared. Pero yo soy bien miedoso, amigas. En verdad que sí. Me estabas contando anoche that at 2015, you got arrested for tagging. Cuéntanos un poquito más. How did you get, involved into tagging? What made you gravitate towards that? Y cuéntanos el momento que te cacharon. What were the consequences? Cuéntanos todo eso.
Man, so yeah, story time. I got arrested 15 years old for graffiti. I guess that was like the thing that was popular back in the day. It was either you're a gang member, you're a tagger, or like an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I was 5 foot tall, so I couldn't be an athlete. Throw that out the window. I was always into drawing my whole life, and just I had family members that were really big into doing the graffiti, so that just kind of what motivated me to do it. And of course, like I said earlier, I was very sheltered, so my mom wouldn't let me just go out at night. So I had to do it in the daytime. This was after school. I remember it was like high school. I was 15, freshman in high school. I thought I was cool. This is the time where you want to fit in and be cool and show people like, oh, look what I can do, So we walked home from there. And as I'm walking home, I'm over here just like writing on signs and boxes and things like that. In front of a middle school, I'm doing this, right? So I see teachers like looking at me as I'm doing this, and me thinking I'm a kid, nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm like, what? They're just looking at me, I'm just gonna do it. So anyways, I went into a creek, right? Because when I go into the creek, there's a little bridge that gets into my neighborhood. And as I'm going, right, we had a lot of haystacks. There's a lot of haystacks for some reason going on, but for some reason, right, I seen all the haystacks just piled on one side. It looked like somebody picked it up and just was piling them. So I thought that was a little weird, right? I'm like, who's piling these haystacks right here? As I'm walking, turns out it was the policeman. He piled them all here so we wouldn't walk this way, so we would have to walk straight. So he blocked one of the exits, right? I'm a kid, I didn't think nothing of it. So I'm like, oh, okay, we'll just go this way. We ended up walking towards like the neighborhood in there, right? As soon as I turn the corner, I see a cop car just, get the fuck on the ground. I was like, what the? I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? I'm just coming home from school. Like, I had my backpack on and everything, and he had a taser really in my face, just like, get on the fucking ground, like screaming at me. I'm like, bro, like calm down, right? It was me and my friend. So we ended up having to, be on the ground. They put us on the ground, knee on our back and everything. We're all like, he's like really putting force on us. So he really just locked us up, put us in the back of the car and took us. Yeah.
Did they tell you exactly like at that moment what it was for? You were kind of like confused?
No, yeah. They told us right away. They were like, oh, so you're vandalizing the school. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he looked at my pockets. I had a fat marker and this and that. So I was guilty, The thing that sucked too, he started driving around as we're in the back of the squad car, and he's taking pictures of like different graffiti things, right? Even things that I didn't even do.
Pa chingarte a ti.
Yeah, like he's blaming everything he sees on me.
Oh shit.
So he hit me with a fat fine with all of them because you got to pay over it. The city fined me for all this. My mom just was pissed.
Do you remember calling your mom? Did you have to call her?
They called my mom.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, they're like, what's your mom's number? And I was like, oh, well, here it is, And I was like, damn, like, this is it for me,
What did your mom tell you as soon as she picked you up from the police station? Hijo de tu.
Honestly,
what did she tell you?
She was very calm and collected when she got me, right? Because she had to talk to the police. As soon as she took me into the car, it was a wrap. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing it? Blah, 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 blah. So we ended up going to court for it, and we had to pay like, I don't know, $3,000 to $5,000 for something like that. Yeah. And
was your mom like angry at the time?
Oh hell yeah! Because at the time, we didn't have money like that, bro. We're living in a duplex, so I was living, single mom in a home. So of course, she was pissed. So I had to do community service, this and that. Like, it was a big process, But my mom let me go easy. I'm not gonna lie. She did let me go easy a little bit.
During that time, did you kind of feel like, you know what? Like, maybe I should stop doing this? Or was it kind of like, no pasó nada grave, deja continuo? Or do you feel like that scare kind of like put you straight?
It wasn't even a scare. Like I said, I'm more scared of my mom at the time. I was more like, I didn't want to disappoint her. It wasn't about the cops. It was more so my mom. Because she does everything for me, She takes good care of me. So, like, why am I acting up like this? That kind of woke me up, but, I made still a dumb decision after. I still did it a little bit after, but I quit.
Pero ya no te cacharon.
Yeah. They didn't catch me that time.
At least you got smarter. You're like, let me fucking do it, but not get fucking caught.
Let me do it at night when it's a little darker,
Do you feel like for you it was more, when you were actually, doing the graffiti and tagging, did it feel very much like a criminal activity, or was it more of like a self-expression thing for you?
I mean, I knew it was illegal.
Yeah.
I knew I shouldn't do it. I think I probably didn't even think about it at the time. I was young, you know, I was 15, so I thought it was just cool, you know, that I wanted people to see my name here. Well, it wasn't my name, but it was my tagging name, you know. So it was like people knew. I wanted people to see my name right there. So it was more so that I didn't think of the consequences of it, you know.
What do you do, like murals or just your tag?
Nah, just my name, like big block letters or something like that, you know. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the aftermath with the community service y todo eso.
So the community service, I kind of lucked out with because we do have like family businesses too. So I could just say, oh, I was working at my family business for this many hours and write it off, even though I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's one thing that my mom did for me that I feel like she shouldn't have done for me at the time because I didn't learn my lesson. You know what I mean? So she's being, you know, a nice mom helping me out. But like my grandma was a hairstylist, so my community service was going to the salon and cleaning.
To sweep the floor.
Yeah, like that was something.
Levantando el pelo ajeno, yeah, literally.
I didn't do it, you know, so.
Hubiera costeado para tu abuelita, aunque sea, like a little extra hand wouldn't have hurt her.
I know.
But I feel like, you know what it is? I feel like even me, you know, I've talked about it before. I've never done tagging or gotten arrested for tagging, but I actually got caught at Target stealing makeup. Yo cuando empecé a maquillarme, I didn't have money. I wasn't out of the closet. My mom ni en cuenta que su hijo atrás de su espalda se escondía en su cuarto y se maquillaba, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
So I would steal makeup with my friend, and it got to the point that I was doing it very regularly. Like, I got to the point that I was like, damn,
so you're good.
I got to the point that I was like, no, you know what's so crazy? The last time and the time I got caught, I wasn't even stealing for me. It was April Fool's. I still fucking remember. I had gone already to 2 Targets, and I was with a friend. And I told my friend, she drove, and I was like, hey, if you take me to the last Target, this last run is for you. So tú dime lo que tú quieres, mi amor, y yo me lo pongo en mi pinche mochila. And I got caught the fuck up. You know, they called my mom. También tuvieron que pagar un chingo de dinero. At the time, they were like, are you over 18? I was like, maybe like 16, 15 maybe. And I was like, yeah, I'm over 18. And they're like, okay, well, then if you're over 18, we're going to have to call the cops, not your mom. I'm like, no, mi amor. I'm like, I'm 15. And they called my mom, y una putiza que me pusieron. But like, I think my mom too, very much like your mom. Like, yeah, I heard about it like the first day, maybe a week.
Yeah.
But then maybe your mom too. Like, my mom was too consumed with work and just actually providing that like the actual getting in trouble became more lenient.
I think it's because the Mexican moms favor the boys.
Yeah.
Right? We get away with a lot.
I was the favorite. Were you the favorite growing up too?
I mean, I was a single child for 13 years.
Okay.
So my sister was born when I was 13. So she was only 2 by the time I got arrested. I would say I'm the favorite, right? I'm the first, right? I've been there for 15 years now.
Acláralo. Nos cuentas, you know, that growing up in Stockton, you saw a lot of things, but you always, or at least at some point, you knew that wasn't what you wanted for your future. Do you remember like the turning point, or maybe you saw someone almost make it out of Stockton that you're like, you know what? Like, I do want a better life other than what I see growing up. Do you remember that moment?
I think I went through that moment shortly after high school, or I would say in the middle of high school, because I would say the first 2 years of my high school, freshman, sophomore year, I was doing bad. You know, I was not going to class. I wanted to be cool, you know, the cool guy. I was skipping class, having fun, doing this and that. My grades weren't there. And then starting junior, senior years when I, you know, changed everything around, I started doing good, going to all my classes, getting A's, B's, you know. So I think in the middle of high school, I started seeing the changes, you know, because when I was being, you know, a little rebel, I noticed bad things would happen to me. So I noticed the energy I was putting out, I was receiving it, you know? So I started switching that with myself at a young age, right? There's people out there that don't ever come to realization of this. They can go their whole life just fucking
Or they think that's all there is to life.
Exactly. So I'm just blessed at the fact that I can acknowledge that and change that for myself. And I think a lot of it has to do with my supportive family and showing me that this is what's right, this is wrong, and this and that. You know what I mean? I think what motivated me is that I think Stockton does have a bad reputation, and I wanted to let the people know that it's not just that, you know, and let also other people know in Stockton that there's more to life than this city, you know. There's so much more that we can, you know, accomplish in life, you know, because that's one thing that I noticed in that city is that a lot of people, Stockton is their life, everything. This is my life forever. I'm gonna stay here and this and that, you know. And I would always just motivate people to, you know, this is look what you can accomplish outside of Stockton. Leave, go do something else. Look at, you know, travel the world or something. You know, there's more to life than that. So I think that's what motivated me is that I did something different. You know what I mean?
And I feel like that's very normal for people to like aferrarse a su ciudad, you know, like rep their city. But also it's very important to know, like, you know what, if the circumstances you're in are not allowing you to grow far beyond what you already feel like you've grown in the situation you're in, it's okay to move out. It's okay to go to another city to accomplish your dreams, you know, because, you know, se escucha mucho. I've never been to Stockton, but I have heard a lot of its reputation. You know, I think it's almost one of like the bad reputation cities in all of California, you know, si lo he escuchado. But I feel like it's important, like you said, to know that there's more beyond the situation you're in. You know, platicamos un poquito de tus papás, you know, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about that. How was your relationship with your parents growing up? Do you feel like you were closer to your mom? Were you closer to your dad? Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso.
They've been, you know, pretty active in my life. I live with my mom primarily. But, you know, they did have me at a very young age. So they're still in high school. Yeah. When I was in the high school photos, you know, in the graduation photos with them. So I'm sure they were learning, you know what I mean? And they did a good job, you know, for being teenagers raising me. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, my mom, I see my mom struggle through, you know, different jobs, trying to make sure I got everything that I needed. And I think she did a great job because honestly, I didn't even notice we were struggling back then, you know? I've been so used to it my whole life, you know what I mean? And I think the part that really affected me the most was holidays. Okay. Because I always had to like divide my time, you know? Like if I'm in Christmas, I'm, you know, with my mom in the morning, I'm with my dad at night. Yeah. You know what I mean? So those are the times where I felt like I was affected the most because, you know, sometimes we're having so much fun and my mom's like, oh, like I didn't want to. I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta leave, you know, but like I'll have good times at both parts, but I just kind of sometimes wish like it would all be together. But I think holidays was the hardest for me. Other than that, you know, I think we divided everything equally. Yeah.
Would you ever like talk to your parents about like your feelings with that? Like, would you ever be like, oh, I wish you guys were together?
Oh, of course.
Or would you ever choose sides growing up? Or was it something kind of that you just dealt on your own?
I think I did talk about that when I was younger. So my dad would, I remember when I was younger, my dad would come over to my mom's, you know, family. Cause my family would still embrace my dad. You know, they know him. He lived with my aunt for like years. So like everyone was pretty close with each other, you know, but I think things are different when he remarried and, you know, it got complicated, of course. So he didn't want, you know, he wasn't coming over as much. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of learned how to divide my time and that's pretty much what it was, you know?
You know, nos cuentas that your mom almost essentially became a single mom, you know, raising you. Cuéntanos un poquito de eso. You know, what was that like seeing your mom go through, you know, maybe struggles financially, emotionally? Did you ever see her kind of like physically struggle?
There were signs for sure when I was younger. And now that I'm older, I can notice what those signs were. You know what I mean? I remember when I got like some money for Christmas, you know, and I used to be so excited just looking in, because I put it in like a little box, right? And I had the code and everything. Every day I should look at it like, damn, I got money. I'm ready to buy some like toys.
It's 20 bucks.
No, it was like $100 or something, right? Shit, so it was a lot for me back then, right? So I was always excited just looking at it every day. And then one day I looked, right? It was gone. I was like, hold on. I closed it and I opened it again. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I told my mom, right? I told my mom, like, where's my money? Like, I lost it and this and that. And she tried to play the part like, oh, I don't know, mijo, like this and, you know, whatever. Turns out, years later, she couldn't pay the rent that month. Yeah. So she had to use that money to help her pay the rent. And at that time, I didn't know that was the situation, you know? So I was just upset that I didn't have my money, you know? But those are the little signs that I seen that we did kind of go through a little struggle. But I mean, she, of course, compensated for that in other ways, you know? So I wasn't really tripping about it too much. But yeah, just little signs like that. I kind of noticed like, yeah, my mom was, I mean, of course, she was by herself, you know, probably minimum wage, I don't know, at the time. And 2 kids, 1 kid for a while, 2 kids by herself, like.
It's hard out there, yeah.
I didn't know how she did it. Plus, she was going to college.
Oh, shit, she's an educated queen.
Educated queen.
I love that.
My mom is like my superhero.
So, some studies when she got pregnant with you. She was very much like, you know what, graduated. I do have this responsibility, but I want to go to college.
Graduated, did it all with me. So I'm like, I don't know how she did it, you know?
Do you feel like now as an adult, you know, ya que cuando ella te contó a lo mejor of that story, like, mijo, we were struggling esa vez que se te desaparecieron el dinero, it was me, I came up on it. You know, after knowing and, you know, as you get older and you mature, do you feel like you're able to, like, almost, you know, see it in a different light? Like, oh, shit, like, I appreciate that my mom, despite her struggling, she was doing everything she could to, like, raise us. Do you feel like that made almost your guys' bond stronger?
Of course, 100%. My mom is everything to me, you know, and she knows that, you know. I mean, I love being around my mom. I think a lot of what they do with us as children dictate how our relationship is going to be with them growing up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So right now, I think my mom is my everything. She loves my son unconditionally. She's my, you know, backbone to everything. If I need help, my mom is there. I think about things too that make me emotional, like the day I lose my mom. I don't mean to make it dark, you know? Yeah. The day I lose her is going to be a bad day for me, you know? Like, I don't know how I'm going to go through that.
I think losing a parent is like one of those things where you're like, bitch, like, I don't even want to imagine it. Mejor que me vaya yo primero antes de que ella. But, you know, they also say that a mother should never bury their son. So, you know, ojalá que no pase ese momento, but when it does, you know, I hope that you're able to grieve in a way where it's okay and that you're okay, you know, because it's hard losing a person, especially someone like your mother. You know, cuéntanos un poquito más de la relación con tus hermanos. You're the oldest.
I'm the
oldest.
You
have a sister, but you also have half siblings, right? Cuéntanos un poquito de eso. What was your relationship with them growing up? Did you get along? Did you guys argue a lot? And what was your role as the older? Did you ever feel like you had pressures of not fucking up because you have people looking up to you?
All of my siblings are technically my half siblings. My sister, my oldest one, is, you know, she has a different father, but I did live with her because that's my mom's, you know, daughter. But I did have my dad's siblings, which is, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister there, but they're all little. Okay. They're all small. You know what I mean? So the oldest one, I believe, is around 8, 9. Oh, you know, so they're all younger than that. So I was already an adult by the time my dad had other children. You know what I mean? But I think I kind of grew up with my sister, my oldest one, on my mom's side. We were best friends, you know. I was 13. She was just born. And we're 13 years apart, but still, I mean, I have content with her when I first started my YouTube channel when she was a little child, you know? So when people see her now, they're like, oh my God, you got so big. And
like,
you know, they're so surprised. Yeah, they watch her grow up. So yeah, I mean, I think I just had I don't feel like I had the pressure of like, of anything. I just felt like we're just like best friends in a way, you know?
You recently, well, not recently, but a while back, you had bought in her car, right?
Yeah, so yeah, shout out to SeatGeek for helping me buy the car.
Yeah, how was that moment for you, you know, to be able to give back to your sister in that way? Was that like a big moment for you?
It was an amazing moment. You know, I just felt like everything I worked for just paid off. Even just me doing my whole YouTube career was very different for my family. You know, I'm the first one out of the family to ever do something like this. So for them to see that happen, it was like, oh, he's doing it, you know, like this, he's actually making his dreams come true, what he said. So that was a very, like, I made it moment for me.
How did that even happen? Like, did you one day wake up and you're like, you know what, Sikik is hitting me up, I'm going to get my sister a car. Was it something you planned? Cuéntanos un poquito más en detalle cómo pasó eso.
One thing about me, I was a big David Dobrik fan at the time, right? So every vlog I would see him giving away cars by SeatGeek. And I'm like, at the time, I had a SeatGeek brand deal. I'm like, why can't I do it too? Like, fuck it. So I hit up SeatGeek. I was like, hey, I want to do this for my sister, you know, what can we do? I was scared to ask, you know. I'm like, that's a big thing to ask for,
like,
for
yes,
somebody. They're like, who the fuck? You're not David Dobrik, bro.
Like, we'll give you free tickets. Yeah.
But surprisingly, they were down.
Oh, shit.
And they're like, you know what? You know, your budget was already this. We will just give you
that in the car.
That for the car. And I'm like, bet, let's do it. I ended up making it happen, and, you know, the rest was history, you know? And
I love that for your sister. Dope. Yeah, and for you too, because to be able to grow so much on social media to the point that you have a brand gifting you a car in exchange for a post, it's like, wait, yo lo hubiera hecho de gratis or for free tickets, and the fact that you're getting a whole car is crazy.
It's crazy. I wouldn't even understand how David Dobrik gets 10 cars at a time.
That's crazy.
You know, I'm like,
that just goes to show like his reach, right? Like
exactly.
in viewership, like what the fuck? A brand is so chill to just give out 10 cars, let's say what, $40,000-$50,000 each.
And I always think like, how much is they making money for him? Like I try to do the math in my head. Like,
you're like, how many fucking tickets is he selling?
Yeah. Buying 10 cars? Like, fuck.
I wonder if it is. Now that you think about it that way, I'm like,
Right?
wait, how many fucking tickets is David Dobrik fucking selling?
Bro.
Ha de ser un chingo.
A lot.
Porque no era como una vez. He's done it multiple fucking times.
Damn near every video.
Literally every fucking video. I'm like, nomás a mí no me tocó el pinche carro, amigas. You know, tell us a little bit more about, you know, you in school. Nos estabas contando that you struggled a bit in school. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. How are you in middle school, high school? Would you consider yourself popular, peleonero? Have you ever been in a physical fight growing up?
I have, you know, and it was all in school.
Cuéntanos de eso. ¿Por qué y cómo pasó?
So, I mean, there was times, I think in high school when I went through my little phase of like wanting to be, you know, a cool guy, you know? Yeah. So, of course, you know, you want to be tough, the tough guy, you know? I mean, I wasn't very the aggressor. It was more so people just like, I don't like this guy. I'm
like trying you.
Yeah, so I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what'd I do, you know? But it'll just happen like that. And when you meet up to fight after school at a creek or something like that, that's how it happens, you know?
Something crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just little things like that. But I've gotten a couple scuffles. I've been jumped when I was 15.
Oh, shit.
By like 3 guys, you know?
For what?
I just think they wanted to whip my ass for whatever reason. Because they came up to me saying some shit like, did you call this girl a bitch? And I was like, what? You know, like, I don't even know what they're talking about. I just think they wanted to beat my ass, you know? So
how did it feel? You're like horrible.
Honestly,
I'm like, paint us a picture. ¿Cómo pasó todo?
Honestly, it happened so fast, I didn't even fall down. They just like, boom. I just remember getting hit in the eye one time, and I just went like this, and boom, they ran away. I just remember my mom picked me up that night, and I was just kind of quiet like this, and she looked at my face, and my face was kind of like swollen right there, so that was it, you know. But I didn't know who it was, honestly. I'd never seen them before, but just little scuffles like that, you know. It wasn't like nothing serious.
Like people just kind of trying to press you going up to you, right?
Yeah, but I think that's normal in high school, you know.
Especially like if you said if that was like the environment you guys grew up.
Exactly.
You know,
especially the way I dressed too.
It could have been that too. Was it kind of very much like, you know, gang life type dress?
I'm the one that dressed with the super big white t-shirts that went down to my knees, the big Jordans and the, you know, baggy clothes with the red hat, and just, you know, I look like some trouble, you know?
What is that word when they approach you? There's like an actual word. What is that fucking called? Growing up in Santa Ana también, if you wore a certain type of attire and you were out in public and there was like cholos out there, like, what is that word when they'd approach you? Pa que sepa lo poquito que me interesaba esa vida, amigas.
Press
is it
you?
check? No,
press.
Like where they ask you where you're from?
Yeah, where you from? They check you.
They check you, right?
Yeah,
is that like what kind of like?
It's kind of like that. It's like if you look the part, they're gonna ask you
like where you from?
Where you from, bro? And I'm just like, I'm from Stockton, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, literally. But
like,
todos modos te agarraban. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I dress like that because that's what I see. Yeah. You know, and that's just what my friends wore, my family wore. But I wasn't ever like partaking in the gang violence or anything.
It's just more you were inspired by the culture you were around. Going back to growing up in Santa Ana, a lot of my friends, my girlfriends, they were into that life. Yeah, and I was always the miedoso.
The chola life or what?
The chola life. Like I swear to God, they were with the street, you know, and they would be like kind of like the hoes.
The cheerleader of the street.
I swear to God, the cheerleader of the street. I would come around with them, and I'd be fucking scared because they'd bring me around these cholitos. You know, I remember at the time I was starting to do makeup, and there was this one cholito, en paz descanse, because later I found out he died. He was actually really cool. He used to press me about like me wearing makeup. He used to be like, "So what? You want to be a girl?" Y yo ahí todo pinche like, no, like me all fucking terrorized, bitch, because I was like,
did he have like tattoos on his face looking crazy?
He did, and you know what's so crazy? He had a bullet stuck in his head que nunca se la quitaron because si se la quitaban, it was gonna like cause him to die.
No way.
Yes, it was crazy. I'm telling you, yo también viví un poquito.
Did he have like a titanium skull? Did it stop right there?
I'm like, I had a worse life than Betty. Just kidding. No.
You grew up in the trenches, bro.
I swear to God, it was scary. You know, we were fucking in high school, and I feel like as kids, you kind of don't see that. You know what I mean? Me estabas contando anoche that también you went to school, to college. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. What were you studying for? And also during college, you dropped out to pursue your YouTube career. Cuéntanos what made you decide to drop out y cómo le contaste a tus papás.
Not a lot of people know this, but I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to the social media stuff. I started my social media career when I was like 23, 24. So I was a little older. I went to college, straight out of high school, 18 years old. At the time, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just kind of went to college because I felt like that's what I needed to do to be successful. You know what I mean? I kind of was going to college for other people. just to impress my family or kind of let my family know that I did something with myself.
Yeah.
The whole time, I kind of really didn't feel like it was for me. That's why I was so quick to be like, I'm done, you know? I was doing nursing, going into the medical field. I was doing all these, you know, science classes, doing this and that. Right before I made it to the nursing class or the nursing program, I was like, this is not for me. I'm gonna do YouTube full time. Fuck this. Because at that time, I was a videographer, so I was filming for other people. That's how I started my career first,
The intros, I remember, yes.
I was doing intros. I was filming quinceañeras, weddings, other YouTubers. I was filming other people and kind of vlogging for myself at the time. What kept me afloat was working for other people while I was trying to maintain my own career.
Was that like your full-time job, kind of?
Well, I was working a job too. I was working at Amazon. I was working at an Italian restaurant, going to school, and videography.
I was
doing everything.
Your mom being an educated queen, how was it like when you came to her like, look, mom, like, me está yendo bien acá. Yeah. I'm going to take my chances, drop out of fucking college, and go pursue that dream. How did your mom take the news, and how did you approach her about it?
It was hard to explain it. But thank God, she was very supportive. Very supportive. She's always seen my vision, you know? Yeah. She knew that I was serious. She knew that I was gonna, you know, excel in it. But she always wanted me to have the plan B. Like, maybe you shouldn't drop out. Like, maybe do that on your spare time and still go to college and this and that. But realistically, I just didn't have the time to do both. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do this, and you support me, then that's what's up, you know?
Was it scary for you to take that leap of faith? Because, you know, I feel like when you're doing social media, I mean, I dropped out my first 3 months of college because that's kind of when I was like blowing up and making money. But it was kind of scary because social media isn't promised. You know, you're like, and I've always said to be able to succeed in social media, it's scary, you guys, but you really do have to take that like leap of faith. Like, chinga su madre, I'm gonna drop everything I'm doing and really focus full time on social media because si lo quieres, amiga, you gotta lock in. How was that for you? Was it scary to like almost not make it?
At the time, I was not scared. I don't know why. I think at the time I was still making a good amount of money. I had a good amount of clients as far as like videography went. So if it didn't work, I would just kind of go back, you know? But
that was your plan B.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, it didn't work. But I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I just like, I'm going to do this and that's it. You know, I didn't think about if it wasn't going to work. I didn't think nothing of it. Like, I just believed in myself that much, you know? And I maxed out my credit cards. I bought a camera, a computer, all this stuff, and boom, I started doing it.
I really do feel like you really blew up because of your editing style.
Yeah.
I remember when you were like blowing up, because I'm telling you guys, I've known Benny for so long. I want to say almost...
When did we meet?
I don't fucking know. Maybe...
I don't remember exactly.
I've been knowing you for so long though, because I remember when you were doing the intros. I remember all that. Por eso lo que les digo, amigas, me tardé muchísimo para traerlo aquí. But I do remember, you know, you blowing up, and I really feel like what really stood out about you was your editing style. Your editing style was very particular in the industry that no one else was doing it like you. How long would that take you?
I mean, I would spend 12 hours at least on vlogs. I would just be at the thing for hours, like learning how to edit as I'm editing. So like, I'm like, oh, I want to do this. Let me learn how to do it. And then I would like go back to it. And I'm like, I always wanted to impress my fans, like as far as like how my videos are, because that's what they expected. I can't wait for Benny's video, because
the montages.
It was gonna be lit.
Yes, the montages.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I seen everyone's video, but I can't wait for Benny's because Benny's gonna be lit. You know, so like I felt the pressure of like, all right, I had to make this one a lit
So all
video.
those editing skills was just you on your own. You never went to school, nada?
I learned it on YouTube, everything.
And that's like crazy, because even I've tried to learn certain things, because you would do those like edits. Yo todavía me acuerdo, amigas. Those
I would
edits.
pop you out and make you go
and
into
it'd be like, how the fuck? I swear to God.
I put wings on you, you start flying away.
Dude, I'm like, damn, AI before AI.
Really?
I swear to God.
It would take a long time.
Ahora sí, ya cualquier persona puede hacer lo que Benny hacía antes con AI. But you really were doing a lot.
I was
and it
doing
paid
a
out.
lot. It paid out. I mean, you guys, it would take me like 30 minutes to an hour just for like 5 seconds of the video. Like I would do that for the whole video.
Did editing ever become like not fun to you because you were like putting so much effort into it?
Honestly, it did. You know, and I think a turning point in my career is when I messed up when I started getting editors for myself. Because when I started getting more subscribers, more viewers, of course, brands reach out now. You know, now they want you to, you know, place them in your videos. Now you're working on their time. Now you're working on their deadlines. So I'm feeling the pressure now, you know? So I'm like, fuck, I can't do 3 videos this week. Like, I just don't have time. So I ended up getting editors, you know? And I'm like, all right, so I want you to fit this vibe, but like I need it. But it never fit the exact, you know? So I think that was one part that I kind of struggled with, was finding somebody that was going to edit like how I was.
That is in your brain almost.
Yeah, but it was so impossible, you know what I mean? Because when I get it back, like, yeah, it's cool, but I still feel like it needs this, it needs that, you know? Like, so it just got to the point where like, damn, like I'm stressed out. It feels like an actual job now, you know? But I'm blessed. It did turn into a point where like it started to get very stressful to keep up with that. And like, you know, I'm one person, bro. So
and also the expectation, because like you said, people already expect this much from Benny. So when they see maybe something go from like, oh shit, Benny like did it so good in this video, and then you get an editor and it's like, oh, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
like, this is not Benny quality. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and people will call it out and be like, yo, what's up with like, this doesn't feel like, you know, the same vibe. Yeah, and I was like, fuck, like people are noticing, you know? So I'm like, damn. So it did get a little stressful here and there, but I think right now is like, I found a good middle point to where I figured out how to do everything, you know?
Before you started making money and blowing up on social media, did you ever have people around you that were like, ay, Benny, mejor agárrate una chamba que te va a pagar bien? Like, did you ever have people that almost didn't believe in your vision? If so, cuéntanos who and how that made you feel.
No, honestly, I didn't. A lot of my whole career, a lot of people, everybody was very supportive, bro. You know, I've met other creators that just amplified it for me. Like, I have, you know, good friends, Bo Maria from Us Always. When I met them, they honestly motivated me to work harder, you know? Like, because I was by myself in Stockton doing this. There's not a lot of influencers out there that were doing what I was doing. So when I started coming more south, I started meeting other people that were doing this. And when I met them, I seen them posting almost every day. And I'm like, how do you do that, you know? And being around, like, that's why I'm so, like, I advocate for surround yourself with people that have the same vision as you, because that's going to amplify how you feel to make you do better. And that's exactly how I felt when I got with them. So I think meeting them was a good stepping stone to help me get to where I am today too.
And to help you stay motivated, because it's so easy in, you know, this career or in this, you know, professional, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in esta chamba, it's so easy to get fucking, you know, discouraged. And it's so easy for when you have that momentum to be like, oh, I'm always going to be on top. Let me just fucking chillax. Let me like chill out. I always think about that, because a lot of people even tell me like, Alan, like you've been doing this shit for so long and like da-da-da, da-da-da. And I'm like, it's because you can never get too motherfucking comfortable. Because the moment you get comfortable, alguien viene y te chingaste.
I experienced that firsthand.
Literally. I feel like we all have. Like, we've seen how fast social media moves, you know. Hablando de social medias, what do you think are the pros and cons of social media? And also being in the space, you know, have hate comments ever gotten to you? If so, what are the type of hate comments or just type of comments that get to you?
Yeah, I mean, hate comments always come. It comes with it, you know? And for me, I felt like it never bothered me. But because I am with Alondra, she...
a bad bitch.
A baddie that gets a lot of criticism sometimes. You know, I don't know what it is, but people really criticize females online. A lot. You know, so I understand where she, you know, how she feels about certain things. So I would always get hate, you know, but it just never would bother me, you know. I'm like, I posted next video, on to the next one, you know. But when I got with her, I started noticing like, okay, comments do affect people a little bit. I don't know. I mean, for me, it never bothered me, but for other people, I noticed. So it kind of like now when I got with her, I noticed that I can't say certain things or film certain things.
Or you almost had to be more considerate for
other people in my videos now.
I know exactly what you mean, because like to me too, I'm very much like, obviously, yes, I feel like even when I started blowing up, I would get a lot of criticism over my way, over how I would talk, lo vulgar que era. Y a mí pues se me resbalaba. Obviamente uno que otro sí me picaba, but I would be like, ah, girl, like whatever, moving on. Right, it's paid, like we're good, you know, like what the fuck, I don't care. But then when you bring, like for me, what started happening was I started bringing my friends into my vlogs, my family into my vlogs.
Yeah, and they start going in on
and even that one comment, even if like there's 500 comments and one comment was about a friend, I would see how much that one comment would affect them.
Exactly.
And to me, I'm like, bitch, ignore it. It's just one person. They don't know you. But it really can affect someone else if they don't have that same mindset.
Exactly.
And it does become a little harder as a content creator because you're like, oh, we fuck around like that. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But then when you have that third person, which is the audience, almost making you feel like, oh, you're a bitch
but
or whatever.
I think that point that you made is very important to be successful in this field, because a lot of people come up to me and they'll be like, how do you do it? What's your advice? You know, how do you do this? How do you do that? My advice to them is don't care what people say and just do it. Like, a lot of people stop because they're afraid of what people think about them. Like, who gives a shit? Nobody in person tells me the shit that I see online.
Exactly. Never.
Nobody came up to me and will like bully me in person like they
online. It's because people just fucking get como que...
They're trolls.
Exactly. So you have to fucking accept people for what they are. Last another day, let the trolls be trolls and let you be the winners.
Exactly.
I swear to God. But it is very easy to get dismotivated, you know, because at the end of the day, we are human.
I mean, I feel like there's two people in this world. You want to be the consumer or the creator.
Yeah.
And there's consequences to both, you know? You want to be the consumer, then...
When I first started doing social media, I feel like also because I would post so much,
Yeah.
I would post Monday through Fridays every single day for like 3 years straight. And when I was doing that, you run out of ideas of what to film.
Of course.
So a lot of my content was replying back to my haters, right?
Yeah,
because I used to think like, hee hee ha ha, like I'm gonna make a buck off of you, bitch.
So now that you're saying that, right, do you feel like responding to it was a good thing or a bad thing?
You know what I feel now, going back to where you were saying you don't really care going on with your next video, I feel like that's my mindset now. Now, if anyone's talking shit about me, thinks something about me, or even, you know, has an idea that is far from the truth, I don't even need to address it. Why? Because la gente se va a creer lo que quieran. Porque even when I would address shit, la gente todavía decía, no, pero esto no, pero esto sí. And I'm like, cállense los hijos, no saben ni vergas.
You'll
Like,
never win.
How are you going to tell me, you know, who I am as a person on a 10-minute video?
Exactly. And I learned that myself too, you know, and I feel like once you do get, you know, hate or whatever the case may be, you feel like it's very amplified just because it's directed towards you. But your audience don't really see it.
Yeah.
So once you respond to it, you're giving that more light. Now your audiences see it. So I learned that the hard way too, because I would respond, rarely I would respond to things. And when I do, people don't really care. You know what I mean? So I feel like, fuck, I just responded for nothing. Now more people know about it, you know? So
Literally,
I'm like,
you're giving them a platform on your platform.
Exactly. So now I learned to like, let it just pass. Like,
I really do feel like that. You know, through social media, salen muchas cosas bonitas. You know, you also started your music through your social media. You know, cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. What made you start thinking like, you know what? I want to create songs. I want to do music. Cuéntanos un poquito más de ese proceso.
Honestly, the music thing just kind of came just spontaneous, you know? I just kind of, in my vlogs in the beginning, I would just play with my friends, kind of freestyle, like music. We're drunk, playing around. And then I just got comments a lot saying, man, you should make music. Like, this freestyle is good. You should try, actually try. So that's what motivated me, is my own, you know, audience was telling me, why don't you actually try to make a song? So I did. And they loved it, you know? So I was like, fuck it, let's keep going, you know? And I just started making more music and more music. And let me tell you, like, the whole music thing just blew up further than my expectations. Like, it was insane. It went everywhere. It was on radio, playing in clubs and this and that. And I'm like, wow, like, from just playing around.
How was it like the first time? What was the first song you ever recorded? And what was it like, you know, hearing yourself back like, oh, damn, like I actually sound legit. Because I guess when you're fucking around, you're like, no, like I'm fucking around. But then when you do it, you're like, damn, this sounds like a legit song.
Yeah, it's different. So my first song I ever wrote and went to the studio for was Broke Bitch. That was my very first song I ever wrote. And I was not serious at all. I didn't know anything about music. I didn't know nothing about writing, anything. So that was my first one, and people actually liked it. And not even to mention, that's probably one of the songs I listen to right now, and I kind of cringe a little bit. I was like, oh, like it doesn't sound like I could do better. But people love it though. Yeah. So it's like, I didn't expect for people to really like this song because it's kind of ratchet, you know? It's like, there's no meaning to the song besides partying, you know? So it wasn't like too deep, but people loved it, you know? And that's what I think what going to the Montana trip was a big one, that people start playing it and other influencers in the trip were playing it. So that kind of like
blew it up even more.
Blew it up more, you know? And then I dropped the one with Alondra, our first one, which went super
Is that
crazy.
the Put Me On one?
Put You On, yeah.
Put You On, yes,
Put You
that
On.
one's good.
The first one I dropped with her was like, I tell you, our love story we have to make a movie out of this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
What's your process like when creating music? Like, do you start with the beat, with the lyrics? Do you kind of have someone writing it with you? Like, what's that process like as, an artist?
At first, it was more so just the beat. I'll find a beat. I like this one. Let me write to it. And my writing process is super slow, so I have to be at home doing it. Because if I do it at the studio, we're gonna be there for 10 hours.
Like, you have to come prepared.
Yeah, I'm coming prepared. But I did have some. I met some people in the field, some friends I made music with, and then it started becoming to a point where we would all just meet up there and we bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you help me write this part. All right, I'll write this part. So I did have writers too. That would help me too. So it just became like a fun thing to do, with your friends.
Has it become harder now? I feel like you're a full-time dad.
Yeah.
You're also a content creator, and
Yeah.
you're also trying to pursue your music career.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's gotten harder as the years have gone to like focus and lock into your music because you're trying to juggle so many things?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I feel like when my son came, everything got put on hold a little bit, because I didn't want to miss no time with him. I'm obsessed with being a dad. I love being a dad. That's my number one thing I love being, is a dad. Thank you, fucking Alondra, for making this happen for me, Like, I love her dearly, but she made my dreams come true with being a dad, and
If that meant putting your career on hold, so be it.
I did,
right?
I kind of just, I just was soaking up everything, and I was still uploading at the time, but I wasn't as like, active. I was more so just being at home, taking care of, my family. It was a big struggle at the time because we were both kind of adjusting to the parent life, and we didn't know, we're both tired. Not to mention we both moved far from our family, so we had no help. We're just kind of together figuring things out. So of course we would fight with each other. We would be irritated with each other. We're both tired. Like, we went through it. We went through a rough patch in our relationship, but I think us going through that made us even stronger today. And I'm just happy and proud of where we are today, and we have a beautiful, loving family. Our son, very happy, very loving. He has a full, like, crazy personality. Huge
I love his personality, and I feel like you guys get that all the damn time.
People love him.
He's like a great mix of you and Alondra together.
Yeah.
And he's literally his own person. I feel like even sometimes when I watch the TikToks, I'm like, I'm not even paying attention to y'all. Like, what is he doing?
Show now.
I swear to God, he does.
People want pictures with him in person. I'm like, yeah, Benny, anyways. Where's Leggy at? Where's Leggy?
Yeah, they're like, fuck y'all. Like, where's the star? Literally.
I'm like, all right, you got to keep the legacy going, man.
Remember that doctor's appointment you were supposed to make a while ago? The one you meant to book but got totally sidetracked and completely forgot about it until now? You know, that dentist appointment for your biannual cleaning or your overdue annual checkup that's been 3 years in the making? Well, why not book it today? ZocDoc makes it easy to find the right doctor right now, and it's all online. You can find the doctors that are right for you and instantly book an appointment. As I get older, I keep catching myself thinking, should I go to the doctors more? To deal with things like sleep problems or stress from work, but it can be tough to get to the doctor. I want to keep myself healthy, but the system makes it impossible to find the right doc for my needs. Until I found ZocDoc. They make it so easy to find the right fit and book an appointment fast and directly on their website. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. With ZocDoc, you can book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent, and more. I love how quick ZocDoc is to use, and I know the next time I need to book a doctor's, dentist, or any type of medical appointment, I'll be using ZocDoc. I recommend it to all my friends porque en verdad que sí es así de fácil. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Alan to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That is ZocDoc.com/Alan. ZocDoc.com/Alan. Now let's get back to today's episode. Quiero hablar de tu historia de amor con la AlondraDessy. You know, quiero que nos platiques. Obviamente yo sé cómo pasaron las cosas, pero para la gente que no sabe, tell us a little bit more. ¿Cómo se conocieron? Who made the first move? And what was the beginning of the relationship like?
Do you have time? Because we're going to be here for a while. No, but yeah, I mean, Alondra came by on my For You page one day.
Yeah.
Right? This was the time I was a videographer. I remember the exact time. I was filming a wedding at the time, right? I was filming a wedding. I had a notification on my phone. AlondraDessy just followed me on Instagram. I was like, you know, I was tripping. I was like, what? Because before that, I knew who AlondraDessy was. You know, I've seen her on my page. Double tap. I try to get her attention here and there, you know. And I ended up making a Smash or Pass video that I put her in it, just kind of hopefully it'll get to her, you know, and it did. So that's how she followed me. And she posted me on her story saying, oh, Benny's so funny. I love his editing, this and that. And I was like, this is a dream come true. I don't know what it is, you know? And then we ended up, you know, kind of talking, meeting. We met only online. It wasn't in person, you know, and then time passed, you know, we kind of separated a little bit. And we met again, spontaneously again in Montana. In the trip, we went to a big influencer trip, you guys. That was the trip that I met Alondra, and the rest was history. We honestly did not separate after that.
Did you guys see each other like almost every day after? Because tú vivías todavía lejos, ¿no?
Yeah, so she lived in Los Angeles. I lived in Stockton still, but I flew out of Los Angeles because I was with, you know, Us Always, which they're in Bakersfield, so they went to LAX that way. As soon as I flew back, I didn't go back home.
Ahí te quedaste.
I was there, you know.
Alondra was like, ¿cuándo te vas a ir? Nunca. Y nunca se fue.
This is it.
That's crazy. What was the moment for you, you know, because, you know, looking back, you know, you guys had that iconic asking her out video. Mm-hmm. What was it, Cancun?
It was Cancun.
Yeah, Cancun, right? Yes, which I feel like that was also a very big moment online too. Like everyone was just waiting for Benny to like pull the trigger and ask her out. What was it like leading up to asking her out? What was the moment that you were like, you know what, like I actually want to pursue a relationship with her? Did you have a moment where you're like, I'm actually going to take this serious and go all in?
I knew that from the moment I met her, Alan. I was like, you know what? I'm not letting this 1 in a million chance just go. Yeah. Like, I'm not going home. Like, this is it. If I go home, it might be it, you know? So I'm like, I'm going to stay here, work, you know, try to make this happen. And, you know, I made it happen. And that was pretty much it, you know? And a little bit of tea before actually making the official video, we're kind of already like, official.
Together?
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda. You're like talking official. Like you were already exclusive and she was exclusive. Okay. She was like, it's gonna happen even if it doesn't.
She was just waiting on me.
Yeah, she probably went into that trip like, if it doesn't happen now.
If it doesn't happen here.
Chingazo mai. Ahí quedó Benny. And I'm glad it happened. That video was so beautifully made too. It almost was like a love story in a video to her. It was so nicely edited, produced y todo.
Thank you so much.
You know, cuéntanos un poquito más what it was like at the beginning, dating, both of you guys being in the limelight, you know, because I feel like once you share something so personal to the public, ya todos tienen opiniones. What was that like at the beginning? Did you guys get any criticism? Did you guys get any backlash? Or what was it like, you know, just dating in the spotlight?
Yeah, so I mean, I remember in the beginning when we first came back from Montana, you know, we're kind of like laying low. We weren't really like posting. I remember I would like preview her, like I would post her like her hand or her foot, like
her toe.
Yeah, like her little toe. And then people were like, oh my God, they're together. Like people would just love it, you know? So we're kind of like, all right, when should we like, you know, make it official or whatever. I remember we would go out, right? And people were just like, I remember one TikTok went viral because people saw us in public and we're together. And at the time we weren't, you know, publicly together. So that went viral and people were like, oh my God, like they're together. I know they're together. Like just kind of like picking at it, you know? In the beginning, we're kind of like gatekeeping it a little bit. Like we weren't going out. We weren't like publicly showing each other, like nothing.
Was it more because you wanted to keep it more to you guys?
Yeah,
or just because of online?
It was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Once you care for something, you want to protect it. You know what I mean? And I knew once we started becoming a little bit more public with it is when people started having a little bit more opinions on it.
Yeah.
You know? So once we did, people were like, oh, but you know, Benny's not ready, or Benny's this, or you know, she's not ready. Like they chime in a little bit. So that's another reason why we didn't want to like fully just say, oh, we're together now.
Would you
know?
guys have conversations about those comments, like in the BTS of stuff? Like, would you be like, let's say you were getting a lot of backlash, like, Alondra, run, like, he's not ready. Would you be like almost reassuring her, like, hey, I know you see the comments, I see them too, but let me just let you know that I want everything with you? What was that like?
I think we both kind of ignored the comments. We're just like, we're on cloud nine, you know, we both enjoyed each other so much. We're just like, we're in heaven, you know, we're still in the honeymoon phase till this day. But like at the time we didn't even care to post it. And which I think about it now, right? I'm like, there's so many ways we could have monetized it crazier, but we're so into each other that we didn't think about the monetization. It just kind of came with it, you know? So many people were like DMing me that I watched, right? I remember FouseyTube DM'd me, like, you guys are the next family that made it, like this and that. I was like, whoa, like this is crazy, you know? I remember getting like a bunch of reposts. You know how you could see like how many people repost you on Instagram? It was always just unlimited, like crazy hundreds of reposts every day. And we're all over everyone's For You page, everything. It was crazy. It was
How did that feel? Did it almost come with pressure too? Because, you know, obviously when you're in a relationship, it's you and that person, right? And then you make it public, you guys become the it couple, everyone's talking about you guys, everyone's inputting. Did it almost come with pressure too, like online at least?
No, I mean, it was pressure, but we enjoyed it. You know, we knew people were really like looking forward to seeing us, you know? So we were just like, yeah, there's pressure, but we're just ourselves, you know? So we just kind of displayed it to everybody and they're just loving it. And then, the rest is history, you know, until now.
Nos platicas de que Alondra te hizo el sueño hecho realidad when she made you a dad. Let's talk all about that. En el 2020 se embaraza and, you know, she becomes a mother. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. How did she tell you the news? How did you react? Did she have symptoms leading up to her telling you? Cuéntanos todo.
It was one of the biggest surprises I've ever had in my life. Like, I was genuinely surprised when she told me she was pregnant because I did not expect it at all. She's normal of having irregular periods, you know, TMI a little bit, but I was like, oh, you know, it's gonna come, you know, like it's gonna come. And I remember I flew out to Stockton, just me. I had something going on over there. And I came back. Once I flew back, you know, that's when she had the surprise for me. She picked me up at the airport. Didn't notice a thing, right? I didn't notice nothing. I was like, all right, whatever. We got back to the house. She was like, I got a gift for you. I was like, oh, that's sweet. You know, she bought me something. She missed me.
Oh, Louis Vuitton.
Oh, that's cute. Little bag.
New Dior shoes. I swear.
Right? I was like, okay. Like, just a random gift? Cool. Like, it wasn't out of the ordinary for her to gift me things, you know, because we would gift each other things. So I was like, cool. You know, what I get this time, you know? And then she gave me a shoebox. I was like, what? No way. And the funny thing I think back about it too is that, like, I grabbed the shoebox and it was light. Yeah. But I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, there's no shoes in here, you know?
Like, they're fucking Nike Airs.
Oh, wow. The Nikes are getting better now, huh? But anyways, like, I put it down and I'm like, all right. And then she's like recording me. I was like, why are you recording me? These are just shoes, you know? And then I opened it. I literally was in shock. Literally in shock. I still have everything till this day. She had a board with me saying that you're gonna be a daddy.
Aww.
And at first I looked at it and I was like, I didn't even like process it, you know? And then I was like, yeah, you call me daddy? Like, what? And then I seen her like kind of crying. I was like, oh shit, this is serious. Yeah. I was like, no fucking way, you know? So that was like, fuck, like life just completely changed. Like, the meaning of life changed right there.
How did you guys tell your guys' families? Like, did you guys do it like in a cute way?
Honestly, it was a bittersweet feeling for me because at the time, COVID was, you know, when everyone was scared to go out, everything was shut down. He was a COVID baby pretty much, right? So my family was all scared, you know, to come around or like to travel, whatever the case may be. It was bittersweet, I said, because I had to show them over the phone. So it was more so like, it wasn't in person, but it was like I FaceTimed everybody and I told them, you know, oh, I'm going to be dad. So of course it's exciting. I didn't want to tell my mom like that over the phone. So of her, I told her in person. You know, I got dinner with her and I told her in person. And she was actually mad at me when I told her.
Why?
Not because I was having a kid, but because I told her in public, like at a restaurant. She's like, why the fuck would you tell me here? Like, I'm crying and shit. Like, you know, she messed up her whole makeup.
She's like, I wanted to go crazy, jump up and down. No
yeah, like she has to contain herself at the restaurant. You know, of course, she was happy for me. And, you know, I feel like he was like an angel sent from heaven. Like, he was sent to us for a reason. You know what I mean? And especially for my mom, too. I really feel like he was sent here for my mom as well.
Was that her first nieto?
First.
And only, right?
Only.
Oh.
First and only.
So he has a special place in their heart forever.
First and only. He replaced me. I was like her, you know, everything now, but now he's her everything.
Little Benny.
That's me all over again. So
no, because he has a lot. I feel like, you know what it is? He looks a lot like you.
Yeah.
But he has a little bit, I think he has both of your guys' personalities, but he's like more Alondra. So it's like a great mix, like looks like Benny, acts like Alondra, but also acts like you.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect fucking mix.
He's literally a picture of us.
Yes.
Merged.
Literally. It's like when you do those like AI ones, like how's my baby gonna look like?
I want to do one. I want to see if it comes out as him.
It probably will come out. I'll probably get all the fucking online pictures and be like, it's the exact picture. I swear to God, you know, Alondra has been on the podcast and she shared with us before, you know, that she had a very complicated, you know, pregnancy. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso on your point of view. You know, what was it like seeing Alondra go through what she was going through? ¿Qué era lo que tenía? And, you know, how did you feel? Were you scared? Did you feel hopeless? Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso.
It was alarming, you know. I did not expect pregnancy to be like this, you know. My first time dealing with it, her first time. So it got to a point where it was just like I was really like concerned for her health, you know, because our doctor was so far from us, about an hour, 2 hours almost. And it got to a point, I think what scared me the most is one day, you know, she was showering, whatever. It's hot, steamy in the restroom, and I noticed she was like fainting, you know, like I was like, what the fuck, you know, like, and she's big at this moment, you know, and I'm like, if I wasn't there to really like save her from falling, she would have fell just face forward into the ground. Tummy. Yeah. So I was like, no fucking way. Like, what the fuck is going on? You know, we're just scared. We ended up taking her to the doctor, and she was diagnosed with the hyperemesis gravidarum.
Yeah, it is a very like tongue twister.
Yeah. So she was diagnosed with that, which is morning sickness times 1,000 pretty much. She's like that 24/7. So it got to a point where she had to have an IV in her at home. I was the one, you know, cleaning her IVs and doing all that. So it was hard, you know. I wasn't sure if, you know, the baby was going through it because, you know, she was going through it. So of course I would assume, you know, our son was kind of going through it too. So I was scared. I didn't know what was going on, but, you know, that's why it's, you know, more power to her. Like, Alondra really like went through hell for this one, you know?
Did you guys have any other like almost pregnancy scares in the way where you guys thought things could have gone left very quickly during her pregnancy? Or was it just morning sickness all the time?
Yeah, so I mean, she kept getting hospitalized over and over again for her being very faint, you know? So I wasn't sure, because you know, from my experience, I thought pregnancy was just, you know, you're gonna be okay, and then you have the baby. So me thinking there's complications of her pregnancy, I'm thinking like there's complications with the baby too. So I wasn't sure what was going on, you know? So me being, you know, all paranoid, I was more so just wanting her to go to the doctor constantly and like, you know, check what's going on, you know? I had the doctor on speed dial, you know? I was like, hey, bro, like she's experiencing this. I'm over here sending pictures. Like I was stressed out at the time, you know? And we couldn't sleep. Like, it was a hard time, you know, but definitely worth the outcome.
Do you feel like it almost made the pregnancy a little bit less enjoyable because you guys were almost on edge all the time? Like, oh my God, like, let's make sure she's okay. Like, it almost made it not as smooth as, you know, maybe someone that had no complications would have made it?
I mean, of course, you know, there's a lot of things that we had planned, you know, a lot of shoots. I wanted her to feel, you know, I wanted her to feel good being pregnant. You know, we had a lot of plans to do content or whatever the case may be, like, and she couldn't do it because we couldn't leave the house. You know, it was very rare for us to leave the house with her being pregnant. So yeah, I think we didn't get the full, you know, enjoyment of it, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen every pregnancy, because that's why we haven't had another one now, because of that, you know.
Is it like a scary thing to think
for
about?
her, yes.
Like, do you guys want more kids, but it's that's stopping you guys?
Yeah, it's that, you know, and I understand her. I don't want, you know, to pressure her for anything that she doesn't want to do. So it sucks in that sense, you know, because we do want a big family. I mean, I told her too before. I at least want at least 2 kids, you know, at least 2, boy, girl. You know, even boy, or whatever, you know, but I don't know. We'll see, you know, we'll see what happens.
You know, I feel like it's so hard being the guy, you know, it's so hard to try to be there for, you know, your pregnant girl, because it's like you really don't know what she's feeling, how she's, what she's going through. How do you feel like you were able to be there for her?
I think we lucked out a lot because we do work online and we make our own schedule, you know what I mean? So I can't imagine someone going through this while their man is out working a 9 to 5, you know, like that sucks, you know. Anybody who's going through that, all the men out there, you need to really be there for your girl, because they're really going through it, you know, and their body's going through all these changes. Shit, even me, like if I feel something going on, I'm over here tripping. I'm going straight to the doctor, so I can only imagine them, you know. So yeah, the female anatomy is crazy.
And I think it is very important, like you said, I think sometimes, you know, as the guy, it's harder to understand what the woman's going through, what their body is going through, because no lo estás sintiendo tú, right? You're just seeing it firsthand, like, oh shit, se me pone así, like, what do I do? You almost feel like hopeless, because you're like, bitch, like, I'm sure even at times she would probably be like, like, you're not doing anything, but just seeing you not being able to do shit is probably like pissing her off, because she's like dealing with shit, you know?
Because not only does it take a toll on you physically, but mentally it does too. You know, I seen her going through it, you know, mentally as well. Like her body's not, you know, working. I'm sure it does a lot to your head, you know? Like she physically couldn't work, you know, so she felt the stress of not working and this and that, you know, and I kind of had to reassure her that everything's gonna be okay. Like, I got you, you know, like, don't worry about it. Like, shit, you want me to vlog you? I'll do it, you know, like anything you need. So just reassurance, I think, really goes a long way.
Do you feel like it affected you emotionally too?
Of course, yeah. So, I mean, me feeling helpless, you know, I think was a big one. The thing with me too is my family was a big support system for me. And I think me moving was like, I got stripped away from my whole support system, you know? So I had to learn myself how to handle all this by myself, you know? So that was a big transition for me as well. So we ended up, you know, having, you know, complications with that, you know? So there's so many things. She's going through pregnancy, you know, maybe we're going through relationship problems, whatever the case may be. I'm going through family problems. There's so many things that piled up at the time, you know? It did take a toll on me mentally as well, you know? I tried not to, like, show it to her, you know, because I gotta, you know, keep strong for her, because she's going through it herself. It's not gonna help if both of us
you need to be her
going
backbone.
Exactly. So, you know, deep down, you know, in the back of my head, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know, I was just kind of going through it, trying to figure it out myself. And, you know, there's some sacrifices that I made with my own personal life, career, wherever the case may be. But we figured it out, you know, and we're here now. So.
You know, after that rocky, you know, pregnancy, finalmente tienen a su hijo. Tell us a little bit about that. You know, how did that change your whole world for you after becoming a dad for the first time? What was it like also adjusting to becoming a dad? Because también ustedes vivían una vida muy free, right? Querían irse a un lugar, arrancaban y se iban. What was it like now that you're like, wait, we have a big responsibility. Becoming parents is more than just the title. What was that transitional phase for you and for her?
Yeah, I remember looking at her. We looked at each other one day and like, are we fucking parents now? Who let us be parents, you know? Like, damn, we didn't expect how hard it was gonna be. It's hard, you know, it's really hard. He can really push our buttons and we lose sleep. Like, it's definitely tough, you know? Yeah, it's cute, you know? A lot of people say, oh, it's cute to have a kid, but fuck, you better be ready for it, you know? Because they're gonna bring a lot out of you, but honestly, the reward, like, it just doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's a different type of love that I've never experienced before.
Did you guys have like a lot of like sleepless nights at the beginning?
Oh yeah, of course. We lucked out because he would sleep throughout the whole night. But even my mom, like I said, my backbone, she came when he was born, and she stayed with us for 2 weeks. She helped us out with him and let us, you know, rest whenever we needed rest. So thank her for that. But we lucked out because he slept throughout the whole night. But of course, you know, he wakes up here and there, but my perspective in life really changed a lot, you know? Like, a lot of things didn't even matter to me anymore. I just wanted to be with him 24/7. So it was like, you know, my friends, but hey, bro, we're gonna go out tonight. You wanna come with us? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be chilling, you know, I'm here with my son, you know what I mean? So, like, I find different joys in different things because I'm in the next chapter of my life. So it's like partying and clubbing. It's like, all right, that was fun. I did that. But this is fun too, you know. This is a new experience for me.
Becoming parents, especially in, you know, the industry we're at, because like I was saying, ustedes estaban tan impuestos de que jalaban donde querían ir. Did it ever, you know, ¿cómo te lo platico? Because I just had this conversation with my suegros. Like, I have a lot of friends that are parents now.
Yeah.
You know, we're pushing 30. You know, a lot of my friends that are parents feel like they're missing out because, like, they see me, you know, going out all the time, not really having any responsibilities other than my dogs. Y yo siempre les digo a mis amigas, les digo, mira, ¿saben qué? Las entiendo. Like, I totally fucking understand. But va a llegar un momento where I might feel like I'm missing out because when my friends are 40, 50, and their kids are 20, 25, and their kids are taking care of my friends and taking them out to eat, to do this, like, who's gonna take care of me? Not take care, but like, who's gonna be worried about, like, oh, how's my dad doing? You know what I mean? So I always think about it very much like, oh, my friends might feel like they're missing out on partying now, but va a llegar un tiempo where I might feel that way. Did you ever feel that way? Like, maybe seeing your friends, you know, still continuing the lives that they had. Did you ever felt like you were missing out because now you were a dad?
I think a little bit further in, like when my son got a little older,
Yeah.
I think we kind of felt like, damn, you know, we got super obsessed with being parents. That was one thing that I always talk about too, is like we became we're on parent mode for like so long that we forgot about us, you know, like, oh, we still need to do our own thing too, you know? So that's one thing that I like to talk about, is just learning how to divide your time so you don't forget who you are as a person aside from being a parent. You
And
get
also
what I'm
as a
saying?
couple.
Exactly.
Yeah. How was that for you guys? You know, obviously, se enfocaron muchísimo en su hijo. Did it ever get to a point where, like, hey, you know what? We're putting too much attention to our son. What about us?
Oh, hell yeah.
How was that?
We went through it a lot, man. I mean, there's points where we never went out. You know, we stopped going on our dates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And things, you know, slowed down. So, of course, things got rocky. But at the time, we didn't notice that, like, oh, shit. Like, we still need to have our alone time. We still need to do this, still need to do that. So, yeah, of course, we had a little rocky moment. We didn't prioritize our relationship.
Yeah.
So that was a hard moment in our lives. And then we figured that out. And now send them off to grandma's whenever we need, you know, and maybe we go on a little trip here and there. But yeah, so I mean, it's all a learning experience, you know.
And I feel like it's very important as couples to like give yourselves that time. You know, quiero platicar de un tema un poquito más sensible. Hace unos años, you lost your cousin due to fentanyl poisoning, and you've done a lot to raise awareness after his death. Cuéntanos un poquito más de what was your relationship like with him prior to his death.
So everybody, you know, it's all broadcast too. You guys could see on my YouTube videos. You know, our family is very close with each other. He was in the beginning of my videos as well. We're all very, you know, close. We always have, you know, family gatherings. So people would see him normally.
Yeah.
People recognized him and all that. You know, we had, you know, a cousin relationship, right? We're really close. All of the cousins, you know what I mean? Yeah, we all, you know, had a good time together. So, yeah, I mean, we're really close growing up for sure.
You know, te das cuenta de que falleció. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. Did you ever see any signs that he was struggling with like drug abuse? And how did you get told the news by who? And how did you react?
It's weird because we knew, you know, oh, you know, he smoked weed or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like we didn't see him as like he was struggling with drugs. You know, like it kind of just caught us by surprise in a way. So I think it was just kind of like a thing that just happened, you know? It wasn't, nothing led up to this, you know? We were not prepared. We did not know, like, when it happened, you know? So when I got the news that something had happened, I was in Stockton already. And the thing was, I was going to film with him that day. I was going to film with the whole family. That's why I traveled over there. So it was that morning. I remember it was me and my sister. We went to Dutch Bros to get some coffee. And that's when I got the phone call that, you know, they said, hey, something happened to Junior. And I was like, what's going on, you know? And they said, oh, he might have overdosed. And I was like, what? And I didn't know, you know, what to think of it. But at that moment, I remember just driving straight over to my grandma's house, where he lived. And that's when, you know, everything was there. We saw everything, you know?
Oh, it happened in your house?
Yeah, it was in my grandmother's house, yeah.
When you got there, he was still like on the floor or on his bed, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so I mean, when we got there, a lot of the family was already there. You know, I was one of the many people that did show up at the same time. And paramedics showed up shortly after. Well, I think around the same time I showed up, the paramedics showed up. So they ran straight into the, you know, to the house, and we were just outside, you know, we didn't want to be in the way, of course, you know. So, but one thing was, I did have some family members did see that, you know, the actual thing. And one of them was, you know, my aunt, Edith, which is the founder of the organization we did bring up. So, she was there to witness everything. And we all witnessed, you know, everything as well, of him being carried out, things like that. So it was a day of just full of emotions that day. Yeah.
In that moment, was there any like possibility of him making it, or when they took him from your guys' house, was there already like no esperanzas?
No, I think it was already too late by the time any of us showed up at the time. I believe it was just an overnight thing that happened that no one, you know, noticed, you know what I mean? So, of course, we all had high hopes and hoping that, you know, he was going to make it out. But I think just as time progressed and we knew, you know, I started seeing that the paramedics, their urgency kind of faded away. It kind of like, it gave an answer for me already, you know?
Yeah. You know, tell us about how it affected you. You know, obviously, in el momento, you're probably shocked. You know, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Do you remember, like, the moment it hit you, like, oh, shit, like, my cousin's gone. Like, this is what happened. And how did his passing affect you? Like, what did your days, weeks, and months maybe looked like after his passing?
It was very emotional. I remember that. Because I feel as if, you know, that was the first time I've ever experienced a loss so close to me. So I didn't know how to really handle it. I just remembered, you know, calling Alondra right at that moment, like, you know, telling her what happened, like just bawling my eyes out. You know, I couldn't even speak. The next few months was just the same, you know. I feel as if it was just a bunch of confusion. You know, I don't know why. I couldn't wrap my head around that he wasn't here anymore, you know. It took some time, you know, and even till this day, it hurts. Actually, he passed, was it September 17th, 3 years ago. So it just passed his third year.
I saw you posted about it, right?
Yeah, his third year just passed, yeah. Honestly, I took his death, something about it just woke me up, you know? Because I feel as if I was in a dark space at that time where he passed. And him passing just put a lot in perspective for me at the time, knowing that, like, life is just so precious and unexpected that I had to do something with my time, more with my time, you know? So that put time in perspective for me. And it woke me up from, you know, a dark side of, you know, a dark place in my life to where that kind of made me want to grind harder for him in a sense, you know, and also for myself too. But it was like, you know, this is going to be for you. Like when we started the foundation, we were like, we're going to continue your name and your legacy. And I have to make sure I continue with mine as well, you know? So it gave me like another purpose in life in a sense, you know?
When you guys got the news that it was fentanyl poisoning, did that come to a shock to you? What was going through your head when you heard the word fentanyl?
That drug has been going around for some time, and I knew that people were passing from this drug, and I think we had an idea that it was probably something like that during the time, you know, because of the situation. But it was just a whole new thing that we had to educate ourselves on too, you know. We started looking into it and seeing how many people were affected by this and how many families, even children, you know, are being affected by fentanyl poisoning, which is crazy, you know. There's a whole epidemic going on that I wasn't even aware of. Yeah. And it affected me, you know? So that's why we brought up the foundation, to bring awareness to other families and people that are dealing with fentanyl or any substance abuse.
For those watching right now that might not be familiar with fentanyl or how dangerous it is, how would you describe it? And what do you think are like the big misconceptions of people when it comes to fentanyl? Because I feel like a lot of people like to be like, oh, well, I don't do heavy drugs, so it can't affect me. But like you said, it can affect, if even you do, they lace things with so many different things.
Yeah.
What do you think are misconceptions? And also educate us a little bit on what you found when researching.
So yeah, I mean, there's no face to the drug, and a lot of people have the misconception that, oh, it's for, hardcore drug addicts or homeless people or like things like that. But it's affecting everybody, babies, kids, teenagers. It's in school. They find it in marijuana now, and like it's everywhere. You know what I mean? And once it affected us, we started, doing our research and seeing, how many people are being, affected by this, and seeing there's, we still have billboards till this day being posted of, Junior, but also so many other victims that have been affected, and everybody looks different. Different faces everywhere, different ages, 60 down to 6 months that are being affected to this, and it takes something as small as a grain of salt that can kill somebody. So
it's that dangerous. Like,
it's that
so
strong.
Little.
Yeah, it's that strong that just if it's a speck of it in whatever you're consuming, then it's a matter of seconds before it can take your life.
Prior to, your cousin, did you ever think that it was going to be something that you were ever going to deal with in your life or even in your family's life?
Never. I think we all just kind of got hit with a curveball in life, and that's why life is just unexpected. We did not expect it at all, and it was confusing at the time, but we for sure want to bring light to it.
Tell us a little bit about the foundation, because I know, right after his death, you guys formaron the Jaw Foundation, which is a foundation that you guys created to, help those who are struggling with it or have struggled with it, or even just educate people. Tell us a little bit more of how that foundation came to be. Whose idea was it? Was it something that, just happened out of nowhere where you guys were like, no, we want to do this because we want to keep his legacy alive, but still help people that could potentially go through something like this?
Yeah, so we did make a foundation. It is fentanylDestroysAll.org. So we did create this foundation to educate other people and bring awareness to the fentanyl poisoning epidemic. And yeah, so pretty much we're just wanting to bring awareness, resources. We take donations as well, and also spread it amongst families who need it for whatever they need, whether it be counseling, unfortunately sometimes for a funeral or something like that, whoever is affected. But we do try to help families or whoever reaches out that is in need for substance abuse. It doesn't have to be specifically for fentanyl, but there's a lot of resources there, education. Also, we are in the process of getting Narcan to give away to anybody who might need it. So if you guys aren't familiar with Narcan, that can be it's just a little sprayer there. If anybody is, ODing in the process, that can potentially save their life and give them extra time to make it to the hospital, things like that,
For the people watching right now, is there like a specific website they can go to like donate or see this information? Is the donation in that same website?
Yeah. So it'll be on fentanylDestroysAll.org, aka Joel's Legacy. That is our family's foundation to bring awareness to the epidemic of fentanyl poisoning.
How important was it for you guys to, start his foundation and keep his name alive?
Honestly, it's a beautiful thing because we did throw our first event in our hometown in Stockton, California, and a lot of people did show up, show love, and we appreciate everybody who came out. We had a bunch of vendors, good time, so it was very humbling to hear everybody's story too. They came and shared with us their story of what they dealt with as far as abuse and how they overcame. And I think it was a good place for anybody to, if you guys need any resources or if you need to talk to anybody who is going through the same thing, then you'll find it there on the website. And
I also think it's great, those events, to, connect with people in your community that are also going through stuff like that, because I feel like sometimes, when one is going through such tragedy, you can almost feel like just me? Why is this only happening to my family? But maybe it was very almost, I don't want to say healing, but it also gave you guys comfort that it wasn't just you guys dealing with it. There's so many people that have gone through stuff like that. And I'm happy that you guys, are shedding light and almost making a difference because, it happens a lot. And, there's people that just go on their life and don't really, give back to the community, whether that's with donations or information. And I'm glad that you guys are doing that.
Oh, thank you.
Ya para terminar esta plática y el podcast, what piece of advice can you give anyone watching that has lost, someone due to substance abuse and is having a hard time grieving?
My advice to you is just know that you're not the only one out there. Always reach out, speak to somebody, and spread the word and let everyone know about the epidemic that's out there, and just know that this is not the end and there's resources out there and we can spread love,
I love it, you guys. Thank you so much, Benny, for all the pláticas we've had today. Thank you so much for opening up, and talking to us about everything we've talked about. Ya para terminar la entrevista, ¿en dónde te miras tú en los próximos 5 años?
37, man. Hopefully I am living comfortable with my family. I don't know, somewhere in the hills somewhere.
Somewhere nice.
Somewhere nice and enjoying life. And that's pretty much it. Just enjoying my son, enjoying our family. That's pretty much what life is.
I love that, and I can't wait to see all of that happen. Amigas, si ustedes no lo han ido a seguir, I'm going to go ahead and leave his social medias down below as well as on the screen right now, right here, so you guys can go ahead and follow him. Y no se nos olvide también seguirme a mí so you guys won't miss any future episodes. And with that being said, thank you so much, Benny, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Yay!